Welcome back, Smith Boys Podcast, brother. We got a giddy one for you today, coming from my point of view, from Cam's perspective.
You lucked out. You look shit.
This is the Smith Boys College Football Playoff Special.
Shit ass.
Give me all you got! Listen. Give me all you got!
Where the Smith Boys are going to break down the CFP, teams 1 through 4, where things stand, who should get in, who should get out, because we got a lot to break down today.
Well, a lot's happened in the last 24 hours. Let's just say that there's been two championship games. SEC or USC lost to Utah.
Number 4.
You blew it!
And now TCU just lost to Kansas State.
Number 3.
You blew it!
So that opens the door, obviously,
for number 5 and number 6.
Speak the King's English. They don't belong to...
Which was Ohio State and Alabama, to then walk into 3-4. Okay? So now...
Yup.
Speak the King's English. They don't belong to...
So now...
Tell him, Jerry.
Tell him, Jerry.
So now, Georgia is about ready to play LSU. LSU's just taking the field right now in the SEC title game. Oh, and we got our special guest of the podcast.
I don't need a lot of I'm not a super.
Drinks? What are you doing?
Go on, get it.
She walked away.
I'm not gonna be on the podcast.
These next 2 games, to me, don't matter.
Well, both teams are in no matter what, right?
Georgia, if they lose to LSU, is in no matter what. Michigan, if they lose to Purdue, is in no matter what.
Yeah.
So it was going into today. It was Georgia 1, Michigan 2, TCU 3, and USC 4, with Ohio State at 5 and Alabama at 6 on the outside looking in. And they both needed help to get in.
Yes, sir.
Ohio State got the help they needed last night because USC got their ass kicked by Utah. So that's going to drop USC out.
Yeah.
And it's going to move Ohio State from 5 up to 4. So I would assume Ohio State's in.
Ohio State's in.
So you're looking at now Georgia 1, Michigan 2, TCU 3, Ohio State 4.
Shit eyes. That's what I call them.
Ohio State 4. And then Bama would move up to 5 at this point. So now we're going into TCU playing Kansas State. And me, as the Alabama guy, I'm the biggest Kansas State Wildcat fan in the world.
Yeah. Well, you lucked out, you shit ass.
Tough titty, said the kitty.
Kansas State beats TCU in overtime just now, just finalized. Game just wrapped up, and Georgia and LSU is about to kick off here. But Kansas State beats TCU.
Yeah.
Now, this is where the intricacies of the CFP...
The politicking?
This is where it comes in. Because brother...
Penis.
Does TCU drop out of the top 4? Are they done, brother?
I'm afraid so.
You think TCU with 1 loss, even in overtime, is done?
I'll tell you this. I don't want to see it.
Tell me.
I don't want to see TCU again. I'm sorry, I don't. I want to see Alabama. And as a Michigan guy, I want this is what I want.
You want all the blue bloods.
Yeah, well, I want Georgia to beat OSU, us to kick the shit out of Alabama, and then we want Georgia because we want redemption, we want revenge, we want a reckoning coming to Georgia from last year.
Well, you ain't going to get Alabama because let's say TCU drops out and Alabama gets in. So it would be...
it's going to be OSU. We're going to get OSU again.
It'd be Georgia 1, Michigan 2, OSU 3, and Alabama 4. So you'd be
unless they leapfrog us with Georgia.
Which you would need you would need Georgia to lose, or if Georgia looks sloppy,
it does look like we're going to play OSU again, don't it?
Possibility.
It looks highly probable.
Highly probable.
Let's take a look at the college football.
So you think TCU's done, as you said? You think TCU's
I don't think,
done.
brother, they're going to be.
I agree with that because a lot of people on Twitter, I was getting into it in the rounds with Twitter. Or people, I was saying, if TCU loses, Alabama's getting in, and I got people coming at me. Saying, you think a 2-loss Alabama's getting in over a 1-loss TCU, even if they lose in their title game? And I was responding, and I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I think happens. Because I think TCU, I think the committee, and I think the NCAA in general is looking for any reason to knock TCU out. Because TCU does not sell to the masses.
No, I don't.
And what sells is having 4. This would be like, I think this would, I mean, would you say maybe this is possibly the first CFP that we have with 4 real, true blue bloods in there? You got Georgia,
Yeah.
you got Michigan, Ohio State, and Alabama. That's 4 of like the college
I mean, the
football
only-
powerhouses. You got 2 Big Ten teams, and you got 2 SEC teams.
My main concern, though, I guess I don't know the concern, but my thought was with TCU is winning. Not winning, but even though they went to the Big 12 title game and they lost, the fact that they got there undefeated, does that trump Ohio State not even getting to a Big 10 title?
Oh, so what are you saying? TCU in and leaving Ohio State out?
Well, you'd have to leave. I don't know. I mean, I don't know where it lands up, but I that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm asking the question. You know, does Ohio State get in? Does USC still get in at 2 losses? I mean, is USC totally done? Because Bama's got 2 losses and didn't even go to their conference championship game. So you would have to the teams that made the conference championship game, do they get a little notch above the teams that didn't? Meaning Ohio State, meaning Alabama? I mean, it's a legitimate argument on that side
they don't,
of it too.
I don't know. They don't seem to really. They don't really seem to put a ton of stock in the conference championship stuff. I don't think, because there's. I mean, like Georgia.
Then why have them?
I mean, like Georgia last year lost the SEC title to us. Alabama won the SEC championship, and Georgia still got in anyway, and ended up winning the national championship.
The whole thing.
So I mean, it's I don't think they really put too much stock in. You know, if you win it or lose it, I think it comes down to record with wins and losses, and strength of schedule plays a part, and I think namesake plays a part, and I think TCU's namesake hurts them a lot. I think TCU being kind of a small niche school,
I'm not
I
going to
think
argue that.
really hurts them. And I think they're looking for a reason to leave TCU out. And I think losing 1 game, I think TCU's
That's enough?
out. I think that's enough.
It could be enough.
Because I think they see Alabama, I think they see huge powerhouse team, huge wide fan base, has won it multiple times, is clearly capable of getting in at 4 and winning it all again.
Yeah.
Plus, it's just the blue blood of college football, man. I mean, it sells. You get you got the 4 biggest powerhouse programs all playing.
The other thing you would have
to,
when you look at it too from like a conference perspective, you got to see you got the 2 best SEC schools and the 2 best Big Ten schools. It's like those are the two conferences
and
that
the 2
rule
best
college
conferences.
football.
The 2 best conferences.
Yeah, you got the 2 best conferences, and then like it's really good to see like Michigan has established themselves on that Mount Rushmore right now of college football. They play it with a different brand. You know, like Michigan plays football right now, college football right now with a different brand. They play with the smash mouth, punch you right in the jaw type of style. It's a run first. It's just an old school mentality, really. And they're the kind of the oddball when I look at the top 4 teams. You know, and I see Georgia, Alabama, OSU. It's kind of like they're all kind of similar. Where
I would say Georgia. I'd say Georgia and Michigan are
more similar.
More similar
for sure.
For each other.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue that.
So what do you want to see as things have shaken out?
As a Michigan guy,
what do you want to see, and then we'll get into what you think you'll see.
What do I want to see? Well, what do I want to see is I don't want to see Ohio State in the college football playoff.
Well, I think it's pretty certain that they're going to be in.
Yeah, that makes me a little bit nervous.
Because they're going to take you they're going to take USC spot for sure. I would say.
I would not argue that.
USC, I would say, is in for sure. Alabama.
I don't see where you can't put Ohio State then at 3. Like, does TCU lose at 3 and stay at 3? There's no way.
No, Ohio State. That's the
comes
thing.
Into number 3.
Ohio State would come into 3, and Alabama
then
would come into 4.
Michigan's playing OSU again, unless Georgia loses this game to LSU.
That's why this podcast.
Or Michigan loses, and Michigan maybe goes to 4.
Yeah.
And then Michigan Georgia play.
That's why this podcast is so important. The CFP Smith Boys podcast.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many scenarios yet.
There's a lot of variables. That's why I'm saying, what do you want to see?
Here's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see Georgia lose, and then drop back to like 3, and then maybe Ohio State, or maybe Georgia falls to 2, Michigan goes to 1, Michigan plays Bama at 4, and then it's OSU and Georgia at 2, 3.
That's what you want to see.
Yeah, that's kind of what I want to see, because I think we match up good against Bama, and I think really we take Bama to task, brother. I'm sorry, but I think we do. And then we get Georgia, and I want to see Georgia beat the shit out of OSU. I'd love to see that.
Nobody has ever taken Alabama to task, and brother thinks Michigan's going to do it.
We're going to.
Anytime Alabama's ever lost, it's never been by like more than 4 points under the Saban era. But Michigan, under their one-dimensional offense, is going to take Alabama to task.
Yep.
Doesn't make much sense to me. So what do you think? So that's what you want to see. What do you think you're going to see?
I think you're going to see Georgia win, Michigan win, OSU go to 3, and then I think you're going to see Bama pop up into 4, and I think you're going to see Michigan and OSU at 2-3 matchup, and I think you're going to see Bama and Georgia matchup. And I think that's a bad matchup for Bama. As a Bama guy that you are, I don't think that's a good matchup for Bama. I think Georgia's going to beat the snot out of you. And then for us, it's a neutral field against OSU, and I still don't like playing OSU because I know how dangerous they can be. And not to say that we've gotten lucky the last couple of years, but like, you know, I don't know. I just don't want to play that game again. I really don't. I really, really don't. If we have to, we have to.
Sucks playing the same team twice.
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, and it's like
at least this one would be at a neutral
yeah,
site.
it's your arch nemesis. I mean, it's the team that you just despise, you hate, you know. But I mean,
Anything
if you
can
beat them
happen.
again, that's the thing though. Is like if we beat them again, oh my God, Ohio State fans are going to lose it. Like that's the thing. It's like it's a gamble. If we lose and then Ohio State wins, it's like everyone's going to be see. It's a fluke. But if we beat them again, it's going to be like fire Ryan Day. OSU is crumbling. It's like the whole empire is just destructive.
It basically
self-imploding.
puts all the pressure on Ohio State.
Big time.
It puts more pressure on Ohio State
Yeah.
to not lose again.
But that's
which favors Michigan, obviously, because
sure.
there's less pressure
For
on
sure.
them. I mean, they would suck because they'd lose and they'd be out.
so
of the
that's what I
title, but
think. That's what I want, and that's what I think, brother. Fire away.
I think what I want is I want Georgia and Michigan to both win, and I want Ohio State in at 3 and Bama in at 4. That's what I want.
So
Like
you're basically what I was saying.
Yeah, I want what you think was going to happen. And,
Okay.
And I think what's going to happen is what I want to happen.
Yeah.
I think Georgia's going to win. I think Michigan's going to win. I think Ohio State's going to bump up to 3. I think Alabama is going to bump up to 4, and I think TCU and USC are out.
Yeah.
Is what I think and
agree
what I
with that.
want. And then, and brothers, this ain't a good matchup. I think what you're looking at, if Alabama manages to sneak in there and get in, I think you're going to be looking at a fired up, new attitude, pissed off Alabama team that is going to look to be the first 2-loss team. Imagine getting in there as a 2-loss team.
No.
You get in as a 2-loss team and nobody thinks you should be there, and then you end up winning it all. If anybody could do it, it's going to be Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. You know that.
Team. It ain't this team,
Oh,
though.
bullshit.
It ain't this Bama team.
It don't
previous
matter.
years, yes, brother. You may have caught me in previous years. Not this year.
No, I disagree because I think
this
you give Nick Saban a few weeks to prepare for anybody, game's over.
I just don't see it.
You give that man 2 weeks, let alone a month to prepare for one team. Forget about it.
All right.
Forget about it.
So that's where we're at. Now we got 2 more football games to play. We got Georgia and LSU, and we got Michigan and Purdue later on tonight.
Yep.
So
a lot's going to ride down into positioning there, but I would say, I got to say Georgia and Michigan are in no matter what. It's just going to come down to a
I
matter
agree.
of seeding where they fall.
Yeah. I agree.
So not a lot of pressure on either team, other than just winning
Not
the
really.
SEC. Other than just winning the SEC, being crowned
Being
champions.
perfect. That's the only thing. Is
Yeah,
being perfect.
being crowned, getting that banner for winning your conference.
Yeah, being perfect.
Yeah. So
All right. So now we watch and we wait to see what happens.
do a little recap when it's done.
Yep.
Till then, Smith Boys out.
See it.